The way to make a living. Crypto is on the rise, making that dough in the crypto paradise. Watching it go, buying low, selling high. Riding the wave, I'm here to stay, living in the digital age. No banks, no fees, just decentralized. It's crypto paradise. Ooh. No banks, no fees.
Alrighty. The day has arrived, ladies and gentlemen. It is FOMC meeting day. That's 2 p.m. Eastern. Powell either delivers us to Valhalla or he dumps us to Hades. Let's see what happens. My vote's Valhalla. Welcome, guys. My name is Crypto Armory, Web3 Nates in the house. Crypto Hitman, as always. It is Wednesday, September 17th. Big day in the markets. Big day. Let's see what the Fed is thinking. Obviously, the number matters, but the press conference matters almost as much. So we'll see what he has to say for himself. I would appreciate some direct and clear messaging that the Fed is in fact pivoting from quantitative tightening to quantitative easing. That labor market is absolutely the primary concern here, and the regime is shifting gears 180 degrees. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to see. Let's see if we get it. But yeah, big day in the markets. Bitcoin showing signs of life yesterday. BNB obviously been on a tear. Solana's looking pretty good. ETH's been chilling at 4,500. I mean, things are good. We haven't yet trickled down money into altcoins as far as I can tell. At least not my holdings. Maybe others bags are doing well. None of mine are doing particularly well. But that's going to come, I think, in a month or two. So look, let's start with the Fed cut and the meeting today. What are your guys' expectations for the meeting? What's your expectations for the presser? And then what are your expectations for the market?
I saw a great tweet here. I'll share. Well, actually, look at that. Nick already commented right there. But Benjamin Cohen into the Cryptoverse, great Bitcoin analyst, said tomorrow is the most important FOMC meeting of our lives. ... until the next one. So, yeah, well, today is a very important one. A lot hanging in the balance, I guess you could say. A lot expected, anyways, on these cuts that have been far too long delayed. But yeah, you know, these are super important, and so is the next one going to be, and the one after that, and the one after that. So, but definitely going to be seeing some fireworks, I'd imagine, today in the charts and in just overall economic sentiment.
Yeah, I see a lot of people, you know, Wolf on Wall Street, a lot of people are using this phrase now. I don't know who was the first one to say it. You know, this is the most important one to the next one. But I think that it really underpins how important this one truly is. This has been extended QT. This has only happened a couple times in history, and we can look at, you know, the results of it, where the timing lines up. Like I said yesterday in the live show, I verified it. It's 1998 and 2024, where you had extended quantitative tightening, extended elongated holding of interest rates, and then you had your first cut in September. And what did that lead to? That led to 12 months of upside for the NASDAQ 100. And what does well when the NASDAQ 100 does well? Risk-on assets, which is Bitcoin and Ethereum. Also scarce assets, which is gold, which we already see has gone to new all-time highs. And small caps, which of course would lead us to altcoins and small cap plays on the stock market. We're already in some of them with the Ethereum strategic reserve narratives, and maybe we go into some more of those. So history will show you that when they have this elongated, extended quantitative tightening, and then they do their first cut in September, it leads to massive gains over the course of a year. So that would fall into play with us saying that the Bitcoin halving cycle is broken, that this bull market could be the longest and greatest yet, and lead us into 2026. So what I will say is we do see some red in the charts on Bitcoin right now. We hit 117.5 last night. If you've been watching the show, the target has been 117 to 118, and quite frankly, we hit that. We're back down to 115.9 here. Hopefully that wasn't the exact top, but I don't mind the selling going into the meeting, because that means, hey, maybe the buy the rumor, sell the news won't happen. Maybe people are already selling off now. Then we get a 50 basis point cut today, shocks the world, and we can actually moon rather than dump for the next couple weeks. But we'll see. All I'm saying is it's only happened twice in history, and both times the best performing trade that you could have made was getting long the NASDAQ 100 after this cut, and that is very bullish for crypto and for altcoins.
Get long, people. Get long. It's time to get long. Look, today is going to be a volatile day in all likelihood, right? There's going to be manipulation leading into the meeting, manipulation during the meeting. Sometimes you see that, right? Like, based on what Powell says, all of a sudden the market's moving like mad, literally during his speech. And then afterwards, we may see some further manipulation. But if you are not a day trader, if you are a hodler like myself, well, man, today is one of the biggest meetings in recent memory. I don't want to say our lifetime. I mean, okay, let's not exaggerate too much. But of this cycle, certainly, for all the reasons Nick stated, we've had 12 months of QT, now moving into QE finally. And based on what he says and what the rest of the governors basically think here long term, they will continue to cut rates. So I do think we are poised for an extended bull run. I think another 6 months seems very well within reason, perhaps even longer. That will lead us well into Q1 or even Q2 2026. We'll see where it goes. But yeah, this is a great time. If you're on crypto, stay long, stay convicted. The shift starts today, and so it is one of the biggest meetings. Let's not underplay this.
I do. I don't know if you have it available again, but you showed the chart yesterday, Nate, and a lot of people are showing it. And it shows like after today's FOMC meeting, the one line has it going to like 104 and then going up. Another line has it going down to like 90 and going up. And then, if you get that shared out enough, then it's like, okay, well, I guess no matter what happens today, I guess we're going down first before we go up. I like to see that kind of stuff because then that's what everybody is thinking. Maybe that's why we're having the sell-off right now before the meeting has even happened. And that can make it easier for us to rise. But I know there's a lot of people talking about that. Even Todd Butterfield himself had the target of 117 to 118. He actually closed the trading positions on these Bitcoin here in preparation of just, hey, I just want to be out of the markets, take our profits. Let's see what the FOMC has to say, and then reevaluate after the meeting. So even himself is taking profits off the table from these trades here live. So we'll see how all that plays out. And yeah, this is the chart that I've been seeing. More and more people are sharing it. And, pretty much every scenario says lower before higher, and not just slightly lower, like going all the way back to resistance levels around $100,000 or even below 100,000. I personally believe you do not want to see 100K giveaway. It's a big mental barrier that would really crush the market sentiment. But 104 doesn't kill anything, but I just don't. I don't know. We'll see. I could be wrong. I just don't see it happening. I think everybody's going to get caught with their pants down. I think there's a lot of capital on the sidelines, and again, this is only accurate if there actually is a cut. If Powell comes out and does an increase in interest rates or no cut, well then yeah, this is what we're seeing.
Yeah, that'd be pretty insane if that happens. Here's some interesting data, and I'd love to get your guys' take, especially on this last part here. But Crown Crypto Cave breaking down the last 55 years on the SPX here. When the FOMC cuts interest rates for the first time after not changing rates for more than 6 months. This data isn't super helpful. What he does here is he actually breaks down the average and medians. So 5 days out, just slightly down. 10 days out, half a point up. 30 days out, the average, a 1.5 up, and you can kind of see the rest of these numbers here. But the mean, the year is up after 1 year, almost 8% there. Now the median is even more bullish. Pretty much all of these numbers somewhat positive here, but this is what I found most interesting. Saying short-term results, 5 to 30 days, tilted slightly positive but choppy. Early 80s recession really dragged down the mean. 60 to 90 days, clearly positive. But again, averages pulled down by the recession in 80-81. Obviously, the big crash in 01 and 07 skewed those numbers down. Now, and this is the most interesting part here, I thought. Soft landing pauses, 84, 89, yada, yada, and 2024. Strong double-digit gains. And again, this is in the traditional markets. When we see double-digit gains in traditional markets, we'll rewind last November, what we saw Bitcoin do at the end of the year there. Recession pause years, deep short-term drawdowns with 1980 bouncing 20% after 1 year. Now, my question is, are we in a soft landing pause year or are we in a recession pause year? I don't know, Nick, Mario.
Well, the dates and cuts that I am quoting, and also Thomas Lee has quoted them, would say that we're in a soft landing pauses. And the ones that I'm quoting is the 1998 and the 2024s. They have the most similarities, and they are also occurring at the same time of year, the same month, after the same conditions. So does that mean that I'm right? Does that mean that Thomas Lee's right? No, it doesn't. But I think that's the ones that I've been quoting. That's the ones that I find most similar to today. and that's why I'm expecting a good big beat over the next year for NASDAQ 100. And remember, like he says here, the best performing ones were the 1984, 89, 95, 98, 2003, 2019, and 2024. And the one that we're most similar to, 98 and 2024. So that's why I'm leaning towards, I think it was like a 12% or 15% gain for the NASDAQ 100. And if you get a 15% gain in a year for the NASDAQ 100, what do you think that does for our crypto assets, scarce assets, and gold? So
Yeah, look what happened with Bitcoin November. Well, basically around November through the end of the year everything was ripping until two things happened. One, they announced the tariffs, and two, they stopped cutting rates. Right? They went back to they stopped doing rate cuts and took QE off the table. That's where we saw the market kind of go stagnant again, which we still had some gains since then, but it wasn't the the rip roaring bull run we saw towards the end of last year. If we get the same scenario this year where they're cutting rates and they're not stopping cutting rates, and the Fed is going to start stop selling assets and start buying, start adding to their balance sheet. That explosive market we saw at the end of last year can blow right through into Q1, Q2 next year.
You guys are not bullish enough. No one's bullish enough. Look, we're not. First of all, we're not in a recession. If we were in a recession, we would all know it. You know how we know it? First of all, there's a technical definition of recession. We're not there. It means it's 2 quarters of a negative job growth, right? The other reason I know we're not in a recession, have you heard mainstream media talk about it? Wouldn't CNN, if there was even a hint of recession, wouldn't New York Times, wouldn't MSNBC, they would be all over that story. They would be front page news. Even if we weren't in one, even if it was just maybe, they would be all over it. Why? They hate Trump. Anything negative about Trump, they're just all over that. So no one's talking about recession. We're not in a recession. We've been in the soft landing. I mean, let's give Fed credit. They did achieve the soft landing. It hasn't been smooth. It hasn't been perfect. They've been too late. We've been on record saying that, but they did achieve the soft landing after massive inflation, after COVID. They increased the rates. Everyone's fearing, oh God, we're going to have so much job loss as a result of this that it's going to be a recession. Didn't happen. Soft landing achieved. Good work, Fed. So we're absolutely in a soft landing. But the story I don't think anyone's talking about here right now, or generally speaking, is the devaluation of the dollar. That is, I think, a much, much bigger story and a much, much bigger reason these markets are pumping than in prior cycles. I don't know what was happening with the dollar in those prior cycles, but I can guarantee you we were not, adding $1 trillion in debt every month like we are now. I can guarantee you that the federal government was at $3.8 trillion in debt. So the dollar is in a dire spot. People see the writing on the wall, and people are fleeing into hard assets. Every single asset that we care about and we talk about, right? Whether that's Bitcoin near all-time highs, Ethereum near all-time highs. Let's just talk about all the major cryptos. Okay, they're all near all-time highs. Real estate in the United States, all-time highs. No question about that. Gold, all-time highs. Even fucking Pokemon cards, Nick will tell you, they're at all-time highs. Why is everything at all-time highs, guy? Because the dollar is dog shit and people are fleeing into hard assets. So that's a completely underappreciated factor in all this discussion here. So look, yes, the Fed is going to cut rates. We may have volatility. Oh my God, traders are going to, oh look, it went down. Oh, I was right for a day. Bro, in 6 months, do you really think Bitcoin is going to be at $124,000? Who thinks that? Or whatever, 115, where we're at today. Does anyone truly think that Bitcoin will not be higher in 6 months from now? Even the bears don't think that. So, look, guys, just hang on to your hats, be patient, let the volatility play out. But the dollar and the devaluation of the dollar is going to cause everyone's hard assets to keep pumping.
Well, the whales are signaling that here too. You see $2 billion in stablecoins just pouring into Binance right now, just before the FOMC. They're not. Trading, they're not going to cash that out. They're not off-ramping that into fiat. They're doing that because they want to buy more Bitcoin. They want to buy more Ethereum. They want to buy more, whatever altcoins they're looking to pick up there. They might be expecting a little dip here in the short term, but they're not. They're not expecting a major dip. If it was a major dip, they'd be moving their Ethereum and their Bitcoin and their other top alts on to sell those ahead of the FOMC, but instead they're moving stable coins because they're looking, if anything, to scoop things up because they're expecting a pump. So
Yeah, what also drove the pump last night to 117.5 on Bitcoin is somebody bought like 600 million worth. I don't know if it's come out that who that is, if that was a company or a government or just a single individual, but somebody
it was
has
me.
It was you. All right, Web3 Nate. Well, I need you to send me some Bitcoin then. All right, Jesus Christ, help a brother out.
Yeah,
But it'll
man,
be interesting.
yeah.
We don't know,
Whales
but
are
somebody
accumulating.
feels good. They're buying 600 million worth of Bitcoin last night, driving the price to trying to break that resistance at 117.5.
You know what astonished me is about Bitcoin? It's absolute resilience in the face of, you talk about whales. The story around whales and Bitcoin over the past month or two has been whales selling absolute ridiculous sums of Bitcoin. I've been on this for a long time, but there are guys who bought Bitcoin when it was $10, and there's apparently a lot of these guys, or at least like 20 of them, and they all have billions. Oh, like this guy's got like 10 billion worth. Like what? Fucking guys, and there's a lot of these fuckers. So and they're dumping. They've been dumping. It seems like every other day I'm reading, oh, giant whales offloading like 2 billion in Bitcoin, and yet the price is still at or near all-time highs for the past 2 months. The resiliency of Bitcoin is astonishing to me, and just like your favorite meme coin, guys, this is not altogether different than your favorite meme. That whale that bought all the the tokens right as it launched on Pump Fund. Just wait for that whale to get out, and then we'll pump, and then we'll run. Same shit. Once these guys are done selling, and they will eventually run out of Bitcoin to sell, what do you think is going to happen to crypto and Bitcoin? So look, Bitcoin's been extremely resilient. 3% global adoption. Dollars in the shitter. Institutions buying in. We're about to have, looks like the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve finalized and those details legislated, with Trump and Michael Saylor coming together on that. There's just so much bullishness. I couldn't believe anyone thinking that the bull run's over and, oh, I'm Ted Pillows, look at my chart, I'm so smart. Bro, how about just tell people to hold and have a 10-year time horizon? Whatever happened to that?
Not exciting. That doesn't get clicks, views, and that doesn't get wins.
That's how people make money, though.
No, people need the activity. People need the new entry. Here you go. Nate, talking about new entry back in 2010 here, Nate. Look at this.
So I was gonna say, you're talking about those OG whales that have billions in Bitcoin. Shit, they used to give that they were giving it away for free back in the day, and they're like, here, come have 5 Bitcoin. Come fill out a capture.
In 2010.
Yeah.
When Bitcoin was $10, and they held on. That's the astonishing thing. I mean, obviously, most people who bought then did not hold on. They sold. They got hacked. They lost their shit. It got thrown away in the dump. Whatever. You've heard all those stories. But there's apparently like 20 of these guys that just fucking diamond-handed this shit all the way up to $120,000 Bitcoin, and they're offloading billions, and yet the price has barely moved. So those guys will eventually be out. There's going to soon be many more buyers than sellers. The Fed is going to help with that. The devaluation of the dollar is going to help with that. Remember, Powell's leaving in May of 2026. And it looks like the Fed is going to make a massive change in terms of how they manage themselves and how they manage policy. There's a third mandate. I don't know if you guys know. I didn't know about this third mandate until this morning. But there's a third mandate. We talk about the Fed's dual mandate all the time. Full employment and low inflation, which they define as 2%. There's apparently a third mandate. And the third mandate is moderate long-term rates. And it looks like Stephen Mirren, who was just appointed, or he was added to the Fed as a governor yesterday, the day before. Yeah, you can see here. They're looking at how to attack that third mandate and how to effectuate that third mandate. And what everyone I think is saying, the analysts are saying in terms of the story, is that they're going to take a much more aggressive stance in terms of making sure that rates are slow and stable over the long term. And that could mean aggressive intervention in the markets. That could mean aggressive intervention in the bond market. And the kind of the long and the short of it is, if they do this, they replace Powell and they start pursuing this third mandate more aggressively, this is going to devalue the dollar even further and be more explosive for risk assets. So I'll share the article in a bit here once you're done talking about Stephen Mirren. But Stephen Mirren, he's the architect behind the Trump tariffs. Everyone thought he was wrong. It turns out he wasn't wrong. I think he's a pretty smart guy. So happy he's now a governor.
when he will actually be able to vote in tonight's rate cuts as well. This isn't a lot of times someone gets voted in or they're an appointee and it takes, however long before they transition in. No, he's ready to go tonight. He'll be at the FOMC vote here today.
100 basis point cut, Steven. If you're listening, you vote for that 100. That's what Trump wants you to do. He's out there on cellar record saying 100 basis.
That would be wild. That would catch so many people off guard. That would be explosive. There would be no dip after that.
We're not going to get the 100, but we might get the 50. I think 50 is underappreciated. I think the Fed, if they look in their heart of hearts, they know they need to do a 50 because they held them too high for too long. Look at that $900,000 job revision over the past, happened a couple weeks ago. The labor market's in trouble. Get aggressive, Fed. Get aggressive. Do the right thing. 50 basis point.
Well, these are bouncing around as we're on here. This was 8% and 90. Now it just shifted literally while we were watching to 70 and 91. But when we checked this, I think yesterday it was like 6 and 94 or something like that. I don't remember. But anyway, and this no change was under 2%. So numbers are shifting as we approach 0 hour. But I think, it still hasn't gone under 90 for 25 basis points in a while. Will poly market be right again?
I think this is like the highest volume poly market ever, too. I mean, look at the volume on that. You're looking at like almost $200 million in volume on this decision.
God bless poly market. God bless capitalism. We can gamble on everything now. What a wonderful thing. What a wonderful fucking thing.
See what else we got.
Good job, Poly Market. I actually met the founder of Poly Market once at a conference. Smart guy. All right, we got some guests coming on. Just want to give them their shout outs. Martin, hello. Hello, Martin. Hello, Miko Chapo. Moon Mutt. Welcome, guys. Rema's excited for the rate cut. We're excited too, man. I'm talking a million miles a minute probably because I drank a couple of coffees, but I'm also excited for my bags. I'm excited. Who's excited for their bags? And not today, not tomorrow. We're going to talk about excited for my bag. I'm excited to be pre-rich again. Right? Pre-rich. That's where we're at. We're not rich yet. We're pre-rich. And, it's going to be Stephen Miller. It's going to be Trump. It's going to be actually Powell. I think that's largely responsible for it.
Yeah, I mean, this could be the start of what could be the next alt season. We've talked about alt season. We've had little mini ones. You've had little narrative runs, but haven't had quantitative easing to allow for a true alt season for true retailers to get involved, and that can potentially start today. So that's why I think this is such an important FOMC meeting to get the process starting to fall within the normal dynamics of the 4-year halving cycle to have at least an explosive Q4, and then hopefully we're right on our speculation of the extension and we get multiple quarters of opportunity in crypto markets.
Yeah, man, alt season's gonna happen. I can't stand these people that are like, it's never happening. It's never. Just the bearishness. Ugh, get out of here with the bearishness, guys. At Nick's abstract, what do we need for alt season, right? What do we need? First of all, you need the majors to run first. You need Bitcoin to have gone on a good run. We need Ethereum. We need Solana. We need BNB. That gets people sort of risk on, and that gets new retail excited and wanting to invest into crypto. But you need sustained runs. You need multiple months of bullishness. Then you need the rest of the crypto market to kind of step it up, stop selling everything, hold something for once, maybe buy into some shit, and have some green candles coming up on the low and mid caps. And you have those two things happen for long enough. Those green candles, you better believe new people will start coming to space. I was thinking about this just yesterday. When did you guys get into crypto? I bet it wasn't in the heart of a bear market. I bet you got in the middle or even end of a bull run. Why? Because you saw there was money to be made in this new cool thing. It's the same shit every time, guys. You just need the money you just need people to think that the money can be made, and then they will come in with their money.
Got in at the very end of 2018, right before the very top.
There you go. Talking about alt season and new retail coming into play, there's always been speculation that Base might have its own token. Base had its little Base summer or whatever. It was kind of a flop. Base has been doing nothing, and people are like, I don't understand. Coinbase is the biggest onboarder. Why doesn't Base have any activity? Number one, it's been kind of the market conditions. But number two, they need to kind of have this airdrop or have this injection of capital and hype. And now there's rumor that potentially could happen. If you read through and parse through kind of the presentations that are being done now, maybe Base will have its own governance token sooner rather than later, and maybe we need to reevaluate or take another look at Base tokens and the Base network if that rumor starts to become a reality. That would inject billions of dollars of potential capital directly on chain, and then that capital can flow to other altcoins, new launches, pre-sales, whatever it may be. Still nothing solidified, but it's finally interesting to see Base maybe hinting at a potential governance token in the future. It's never made sense to me how Coinbase can be one of the biggest retail onboarders and why when you go there you're not directly injected into the Base chain. A big fumble by Coinbase, a big fumble by Brian Armstrong over the past few years, and maybe they start to figure that out with this airdrop. I mean, when you get on Coinbase, the first thing should be, hey, this is how you get on Base, this is how you get into the decentralized ecosystem on Base, and you can buy the tokens from the platform. And instead, that's not what people use it for. They get on Base, they buy their ETH or their USDC, and they withdraw it out to either ETH chain or Solana. So we'll see what happens. This is just rumor and speculation, but maybe Crypto Paradise needs to reevaluate, because we have not been involved with Base projects because they have done absolutely nothing.
Well, one thing, I was reading a bit about this over the last couple of days, because it's one of the biggest stories on crypto Twitter. They're I think really looking at what projects like Hyperliquid have done in these points models, these point systems. And a tweet by Brian Armstrong specifically said the reasons that we're looking into this are, one, we're able to advance the tech and decentralization better, and two, we want to be able to create an economy where we can bring in creators and incentivize creators, and what was the word he used? Builders to come on chain. In other words, some sort of airdrop. Hopefully they do something more along the lines of a point system like Hyperliquid versus what we've seen time and time again with these big L1s when they do these giant airdrops that go nowhere, right? You look at like Arbitrum and all these huge airdrops that have happened over the last few years. ICP, I believe Aptos did one. Anyways, they dump all this money out there and fast forward a month, 2 months, 3 months, and they retain none of the users. They retain none of the transaction volume. Whereas Hyperliquid, they had an amazing airdrop based on this point system, and they're still raking in cash. They still have the users. People didn't just cash in this airdrop and then bail, right? They stayed on. They kept using the tech. They kept using the platform. So hopefully Base can learn from that. And find a way to draw real people, real projects, real users that are going to stay long term and benefit the ecosystem, rather than what we've seen too many times with these big L2, L1 airdrops, where it's this big, hoopla. The airdrop happens, everybody sells it, and then moves on to the next thing.
Do you want to hear a skeptic's take on all this stuff? The reason why all those airdrops across all those big L1s and those massive projects, why do they all get sold off? Obviously, free money. But the products itself and the technology and the chain, it was all fucking pointless to begin with. How many L1s are absolutely fucking pointless? 95%? We didn't need like 100 fast, cheap ones. Solana won the fast, cheap game, guys. Solana won it, as far as I'm concerned. Maybe there'll be another one. Solana won it. Okay, so we don't need 100 fast, cheap chains. That's what we got. Ethereum won the programmability game. Okay, the institutional game. Okay, Bitcoin's digital gold. Maybe we'll have a handful of other chains that somehow survive the test of time, but most of these VC chains are going to die because they were pointless to begin with. Why was Hyperliquid successful? It's not because of the points system. Because they built a product that people wanted to fucking use. Simple as that. They built a product that allowed people to speculate on the price go up or down. That's literally what this whole industry is, guys. Price go up or down. Speculation, new coins. Let's do leverage trading. Let's try to turn our money into more money by taking excessive risk after excessive risk. That is the skeptic's take on this industry. Most chains completely pointless. Airdrops were pointless. I'm glad people made money. But Hyperliquid is popular because the product is popular, right? And I don't think Base, yes, they could do a big airdrop. You can get hopefully new people on board and maybe some new retail if they did some cool real-world marketing or something like that around this airdrop. Like, wouldn't that be great? Get your free Base tokens if you jump in and download the Coinbase app and you buy $10 worth of Bitcoin or Ethereum and get some free Base. Oh, wow, wouldn't that be good to onboard new people? I'd be happy. But is Base do we really need a fast, cheap chain on EVM? And we got Pulse Chain. That's great. We love Pulse Chain. We got BNB Chain. That's great. That works. Do we really need Base? Like, honestly? Anyone? feel we need it in our lives. If we don't have it, we're somehow missing something. No, of course not.
I think the biggest thing with the base and why people had so much high hopes for it is because it is tied directly to Coinbase, and Coinbase is still one of the biggest retail onboarders. And if done correctly, at least if they're getting onto base, obviously maybe the end goal is we don't want them to stay on base. We want them to go to BSC, go to ETH, go to whatever and pump our bags. But at least that gets these retail people directly, step by step, integrated with the decentralized ecosystem of crypto, because Coinbase should be incentivized to teach these people what it means to get a MetaMask, what it means to get on-chain rather than on a SEX, and then they can apply that knowledge to bridge to various other chains down the road. That was always the hope. That was a speculation. It just hasn't happened yet.
Take your platform, your microphone, and your billions and billions and billions of dollars and use it to onboard new people in crypto. Great. Do that. That would be the use case of the base token. I'm not opposed to that. But the chain itself, we have fast, cheap chains. I don't think there's a point in it. The problem, too, I think, and the reason why, my guess, is Brian Armstrong didn't move forward with the base token and really pushing base as much as he probably could or should have, is it honestly it directly competes with the core business money-making operations of the centralized exchange. Because if all of a sudden you're saying, hey guys, go over to base, get a MetaMask, and you can do all this stuff that you do on Coinbase, and you can do it for a fraction of the cost over on base chain and basically spend no fees at all. How is Coinbase going to make money if 100% of their users go over to DEX? So it's not really in their interest to meaningfully push the DEX route, in my opinion. Again, skeptics take. I have no proof of what I'm saying. It's just purely speculation. But it stands to reason that Brian Armstrong wouldn't want to take business away from a centralized exchange and bring it over to a DEX that he doesn't really make money on. So just saying.
Yeah, that's been true so far. That's why I think base has kind of been a flop. They haven't, directly onboarded people there. It's not integrated on their SEX to then get you to onboard to the DEX. You know what I mean?
So anyway, it'll be great. Look, base season, I want base season. I actually happen to like base. But I like Coinbase's product. But, yeah, just skeptics take 99% of chains. They're all fucking pointless, guys.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen the head. I think we maybe looked at it yesterday. OpenX AI absolutely blew up, 200 million market cap after launch on base. So they're getting a few projects here and there that are hitting it, but and certainly not to full on base.
Look, DApps can have purpose. That sounds like a DApp. That's not a chain, right? That's its own. Maybe it's its own.
No, that was a project on base that launched on base recently.
Look, I don't think every single crypto project's terrible. Because DApps can have multitude of use cases. You can have a DApp that does anything under the sun, right? And some of those are actually valuable and useful, and even at some things outside of pure speculation or get traction in crypto. Mostly it's just speculative type products that further trading or what have you. But like if we already have a fast, cheap chain, if we already have a super secure chain, if we already have the digital gold chain, if we already have 5 or 10 fast cheap chains. Like, let's just be honest. There's like 5 or 10. Like, how many L1s do we really need? Just saying.
What else we got going on today? I'm not rocking the Money Printer Go Burr shirt. I'm actually rocking the Dubcat shirt, and I'm rocking the strip club hat because our financial freedom starts today after the FOMC meeting. Alt season comes, and then you guys can be degenerates in your daily life. So that's why I'm rocking these. I'm not going to give Jerome Powell the presentation today with the Money Printer Go Burr. He needs to do his job, and the Money Printer is going to go Burr anyways.
Do your job, Powell. We want to be in the strip club in 3 months from now. Blowing our hard-earned crypto monies on stupid shit.
That's the American dream.
Well, let's just do all the stupid shit again, shouldn't we? No, just kidding. Let's learn the lessons. We actually, a lot of great lessons from last cycle. Last cycle was the first cycle any of us actually made money in crypto. And I, for one, did a lot of stupid shit. I didn't get too heavily into NFTs, thank goodness. But still did some dumb things. Still, kept investing over and over into the next pre-sale. Even the returns were diminishing. The quality of the projects were diminishing. But you have that kind of greed mindset, and you don't know where else to put your, I made money on this thing. Well, logically, I should invest in the next thing that's similar to that because I got to keep growing my money, right? That's what you do as an investor. At some point, you need to say, all right, enough's enough. Time to diversify. Maybe move it into real estate, maybe put some money into something like the Frontier Fund that's going to do some leverage trading for you.
Yeah,
Make
so let's
money off
break
of
down some
volatility.
things that's actually going on right now. Web3, Nate, do you want to go over what's going on with the Frontier Fund and how people can get involved? And I'll talk about quants and the potential pre-sale opportunity. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities that Crypto Paradise has exclusively going on right now over the next few days, and you need to take action in order to participate. And then we'll talk about some other altcoins that were in that, amidst this red are still green today.
Yeah, we just got an update on the Frontier Fund. Would have been last night my time, so it's early
Yeah,
afternoon for you
and
guys.
maybe you want to share that so people can kind of see the type of breakdown they get and everything's transparent and everything
Yeah,
else.
let me see if I can get that window to work.
Yeah, it's always a little tricky to share the Telegram. Oh, okay.
There we
All right,
go.
good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, so they off to a blazing start. Had a little bit of a hiccup. It's pretty volatile times, difficult times to trade, but came right back here. Looking at overall your daily yield, about 1/3% a day, and this is going for about 2 weeks. I think they are up almost 4% already. We've been doing this for what, 2 weeks, something like that.
And that's net, by the way. That's net to us. That's
Yeah,
so
correct.
actually at 8%. They take their 50% profit, so we're up to our 4%.
Correct. Yes. Yeah, good point out there. But yeah, these guys really break it down, let you know kind of in terms, you can see the full capital positions. They give you a written summary of what's going on, your net yields, the float fund snapshots. They do go to great lengths to educate all the people that are invested and not just say, hey, here's our number where we're at now. Like, here's your profit. Like, they really do a great job of keeping you in the know and understanding what's going on. Not just when they, post up profit updates like this, but when they're posting, hey, it's been a week, here's what's going on. Here's why we haven't posted. We're in the middle of these kind of trades. Here's the things that have affected them. Here's what we're waiting on to resolve. Here's when we're expecting to give you an update. So like constantly keeping everybody in the know. They're doing a really great job, not just of making us all some money, but just educating and keeping everybody up to speed on things. Clear communication goes a long ways with stuff like this. So absolutely loving the Frontier Fund. This one just started on, what was it? What was that
It
date?
was early September, I believe.
Was it early September or end of August? Anyways, it's like 2.5, 3 weeks old, something like that. So another probably 2 weeks, and we'll have the first kind of like monthly pivot where we'll have the opportunity. People that want to take out their profits can do so. If they want to roll that into the next month, they can. And then every 2 months, you have the opportunity to withdraw your principal as well as your what you've earned there, your ROI, your interest on that there. But most of us are rolling that over into the next section. So if you want to be a part of it as well, got about 6 weeks before we will be opening it up for allocations again. At that time, you need to be holding 400,000 surf. No better time than the present to start filling up that bag. I know surf's down a little bit, but if the markets are all ripping, Pulse Chain's going to be ripping, surf's going to be pumping. Come 3-4 weeks from now when you're getting ready, like, man, they just made 40% in a month on the Frontier Fund. I want to get in on that. And now surf is 4 times what it was today.
That's definitely what's going to happen, by the way. All those things are going to happen. Altcoins are going to run, surf's going to run, it's going to get more expensive. Frontier Fund's going to continue to do well. What I noticed about Frontier Fund, they are very consistent in sort of how they operate and the results even. I would say like 90% of the trades are profitable. And then you get like once every 2 weeks, they get caught the wrong way. And a few days ago, they got caught the wrong way on a Solana trade. And so took a loss there and then, kind of dragged down the overall ROI. But we're still obviously still in profits. Right on track, I would say, for your 15% returns a month, basically is what we've been expecting and what we've been getting. We're right on track for that. But it took one trade that went the wrong way. Otherwise, it's been pretty damn consistent with profitable trades for like every other day other than that. So 89 the risks but overall, if you can withstand that sort of every so often you're take a little bit of a loss, but it doesn't hurt your principal. There's never been a principal impact on that. It's just got to be aware of that. But look, 15% returns a month on your basically would have otherwise for me been stable coins. Pretty damn happy. So get your 400,000 surf, get in the Frontier Fund, and I mean, that's another way to diversify, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the stats for their what they ended up on last time. It was something like, it was like 1 out of 35 trades had gone negative. It was like a really amazing win rate. But yeah, right now they're sitting at 89% win rate, 8 out of 9 trades profitable in the win rate column there. So yeah, they're doing their thing. Going to keep grinding. But if you want to find out more about that, ask in the Telegram group. If you want to join the Surf DAO. You need 400K. 200,000 surf to get in the DAO, 400,000 if you want to participate in the Frontier Fund. But ping any of us if you want to find out more about that.
Yeah, and the more imminent thing going on right now is there is going to be a quants pre-sale form sent out, I believe, today. They're looking to launch on September 25th, so a pretty quick turnaround time. You have 48 hours in order to invest. This is exclusive to the DAO group. So 200,000 surf to be able to participate in this. Now, there's no guarantees in pre-sales, but this is a quick turnaround time. They are going to follow in the footsteps of a lot of other pre-sales that have just launched, and these pre-sales have done amazingly well, like 100x's for all of them. So will this one do 100x? There's no promises. Will it have success? No promises, but I think all our due diligence and the results from other market participants would say, yes, this will do well. So if you're interested in quants pre-sale and to get involved in the round, you need 200,000 surf or more, and you'll have the next 48 hours in order to invest. So now is a good time to do that because why? The market's down a little bit. You can get your 200,000 surf a little cheaper and then get into this quants pre-sale while pre-sales are starting to do good. You can follow all the news they're doing. They're creating new partnerships. They're creating new marketing campaigns, etc. Getting everything prepped. I like what I see. We also got some bullish news out that they are decreasing. There was a little bit of funds left in the public round. They said, nope, we're not going to do that. We're going to cut that off. You guys will be the last investors in the strategic round. And what this does is it actually decreases their initial market cap down from like 300 and something thousand market cap down to like 240,000 market cap, which means your chance at multiples just got a little bit higher, and the amount of people that can dump on you at launch just got a little bit lower. So this is what you like to see. Bullish news from them leading into the raise, cutting everything off. Really, they're waiting for the last funds from the Surf DAO, and they are getting ready to launch the KVAI token in a great sector. Look, we just talked about Frontier Fund. I think Quants kind of finds itself in between Hyperliquid and the Frontier Fund as far as what their trading strategies is, how their platform works, and of course they have a token and Frontier Fund does not. So this will be an interesting one.
The audience is bullish. The audience is bullish. The audience loves quants. Couple of updates on that as well. For prior investors into quants strategic round, we held a private round investment back in January. Quick update for you guys. Quants, see, that's why I love Quants, the team, man. They're on top of their shit. They have built a migration tool. So those who invested using your Ethereum wallet, your EVM-based wallet, right, your MetaMask, you will have the ability to migrate essentially by inputting your address, and then you're going to let them know it's like a DApp, right? And then you let them know your corresponding Solana address, and that'll be your address you claim through. So they're going to have a migration tool. You don't really have to worry about it too much. You're just going to input your address that you invested from initially. You'll go through a couple verification steps on your wallet, connect your Sol wallet, and then your tokens will appear there, and you can claim using your Solana wallet. So very easy process for all you prior investors. For the investors coming into the round in the next days here, you'll just provide your Solana address in a form or something like that, and they'll be taken care of that way. So very simple. Nothing for you guys to worry about who are prior investors. But yeah, bullish on quants, man. I mean, I don't know if it does 100x. That seems like it's going to be a tall order out of the gate, you know. But what we have seen, though, is kind of a new strategy, which I'm just loving, where it's more of a DEX first, DEX focused launch, you know, and maybe for a month you kind of let the weak hands out, the people want to sell, you get them out, and then after a certain period of time, you press go on marketing, you press go on centralized exchanges, you ramp up market making activities, whatever the case may be, and you really push it after some of those weak hands are out. So we'll see if Quants does that strategy. I don't know. I have no idea if that's what they'll do. But the one that we monitor, Crypto Collect, or whatever that one's called, Collector Crypto, that one did a similar thing. So does Quants play out the same way? We'll have to see. But what a beautiful looking chart there. My goodness.
Yeah, that's a wild one. That's one I will remember all cycle.
Oh my God, whole life. Whole life. I could be living in a mansion right now. I'm living in this shitty little house. Fucking crypto collect fucked me over, but not really. I mean, we just dropped the ball and didn't get involved as we should have. But yeah, crazy. $500 million market cap out of the blue.
Still
Wow.
grinding higher too, over on Solana. So I mean, this is the strategy. Quants is also going to be on Solana. I mean, you can see the launch here. You let people dump out. You let it kind of do its thing. You're getting active, and then boom, you go all in on marketing, all in on KOL, centralized exchanges, market making, buybacks, revenue share, whatever it may be. And they have not given up any of these gains. Obviously, have volatility up here because how can you not when people invested at a 500K market cap? But I mean, wow. That's why I need to get some funds and put a little more funds into the Quants token, just as I couldn't live with myself if this happens again.
We're gonna have 100x or 2 this cycle, boys. I really firmly believe that. And whether it's Quants, whether it's another one, me 3. Actually, I just spoke with the founder there yesterday. He's looking at he's on board of the collector crypto, sort of marketing team or the guys behind coming up with that strategy, and he's looking at a similar thing. So copycat. Say the NFL is a copycat league. This is a copycat market. You see something do incredibly well, and people want to look to replicate it. Whether they can replicate it exactly, we'll see. But very good. Me 3 looking to launch soon as well, and maybe that's our 100x.
Yeah, and if we take a look at another project that we called recently in the Alpha Group, amidst the red on Pulse Chain, Rome held the floor and now rallied overnight up to 311K market cap. Still micro cap, but the last time we were talking on this was like 215K. Now it's added 100K in market cap with this like 30% rally overnight. They did get listed on Play to Earn, which is a kind of a Web 2, Web 3 platform. This is the first project on Pulse Chain to ever be listed on Play to Earn, where it's a bunch of Web 3 games where you can earn actual capital. So that's good to see. Hopefully that onboards some people to Pulse Chain, onboards some people to Rome. Obviously it did. There's a 30% pump there. And we'll keep monitoring this one moving forward. Of course, we gave the alpha call down here at 15K market cap. Maybe you didn't get involved because it was on pump tires. You had to be quick. It did its pump. It did its consolidation back to 38K. And then we give you a full video review on why we like the project. And since then, that's 38K to a 311K market cap. Nice multiple there for you. Again, it's nice to see some more Pulse Chain projects launching because every one of these that can kind of get out of the ecosystem, they got listed on Play to Earn, which is not Pulse Chain native. Maybe that gets some new people over to Pulse Chain playing the game and eventually trickling into Rome, Surf Token, PLS, and some of our other favorites.
Yeah, I think the thing about Pulse Chain a little more, we do just need some new blood over there. If it's just kind of recycling the same people, that's it's tough because new tokens get launched and then you're exiting out of that to even the new thing, and you really need some new blood coming in. I would love to see PLS get listed on a centralized exchange again. Even if it's an MEXC, for example. Like let's try to make something like that happen because I feel like we need new blood on Pulse Chain. We're doing our part. Helping projects like YakDAO launch. They just launched a couple days ago. A lot of their previous token holders obviously going to be forced migration over to Pulse Chain through this airdrop, so that's good. Surf Token did our part. We got Bear AI coming up. But we need some new blood on Pulse Chain. And Richard Hart, maybe instead of spending money on a million tablets, maybe just spend $60,000 to get PLS listed on MEXC.
Yeah, let's take a look at the Ethereum chart. We did look at the BTC chart. We haven't looked at ETH. Ethereum trying to hold in here. Moment of truth. We see this rally over the weekend, extraordinary strength, almost getting to a new all-time high. It's been kind of slowly selling off since then, sitting on the moving average right here at 44.78. The very important level is back down to that 43.50 level. We'll see what happens with this FOMC. It was outperforming Bitcoin today. It just turned red while we were live. So instead of the Crypto Paradise pump, we got the Crypto Paradise dump. But not much going on here. This is a massive consolidation, and when you have this type of consolidation, a lot of pressure is built here, and if we're right, and we do have more bull market, if we're right and Ethereum strategic reserves are buying and hoarding supply, this should resolve to the upside at some point. You really don't want to see these levels give away, and again, remember, this all started with this breakout level here, so it's still a bullish retest. You can go as low as 3,900 and still be considered a bullish retest. Obviously, I don't wish for that to happen, but if that happens, if Nate is right and there is a Bitcoin sell off to 104 or something, you probably get that 3,900. That will be the buy of a lifetime leading into what I believe is going to be 5 figures Ethereum into the end of the year and into 2026.
I think ETH is even more sensitive to interest rates than Bitcoin, though. ETH is, at least historically, maybe it's changed now with ETFs and stuff in the strategic reserves, but historically it's been viewed of as a kind of a tech stock, which makes sense. I mean, it is the backbone of Web3, which is a tech-based industry. It's a technology at its core. It's a smart contract platform. Of course it trades like a tech stock. And tech stocks, historically, are the most sensitive to interest rates. They're viewed of as risk on, right? And so to me, logically, Ethereum is going to go higher in the face of quantitative easing and the shift from QT to QE. So I'm not worried about Ethereum at all. Do we have some retests? Do we have volatility, ups and downs? Okay, sure, of course. But if we're truly moving from an era of 12 months of high rates to now cut after cut after cut, and then Powell's replacement in 2026, and then more cuts, and we're down to 2% interest rates again. Come on, guys. Do you think Ethereum isn't going to be pumping and flying at that point?
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, outside of the hitman here, we're not really traders. So, I'm not worried about the next week. I'm not worried about the next month. If we get a dip, I'll look at that as a blessing. I'll buy some more Ethereum. I'll buy some Bitcoin. I'll scoop up some alts. But 6 months from now, I got zero doubt in my mind that we are in a much, much higher number for ETH, for Bitcoin, for the overall markets. So I'm not worried about it. Maybe we get that dip to 104. Maybe we don't. But either way, I'm going to be, continue with my strategy of hodling everything I've bought to this point, DCAing into more stuff and looking for that next trend, whether it's base, whether it's an RWA thing, whether it's AI stuff, whatever. That's what we're going to stay on top of here on the channel, is trying to bring you those trends that you can get ahead of, where you can get in. And we've seen what kind of runs those mini sector type bull runs can do while the market's pumping.
I think we teleport to $130,000 starting tomorrow. 130K Bitcoin. It's coming. It's coming, guys. The whole market's going to get faked out. Everyone's saying it's a dump. A dump's coming. When the market thinks one thing, it does the opposite. So let's get that run to 130K. Let's get ETH above 5,000. Properly above. I don't mean like it wakes up and it like touches 5,000 on one random exchange that no one's heard of. I mean like Binance, Coinbase. It's all like 5,000, 5,100, 5,200. Guys, this is all going to happen. This is all going to happen. It's a matter of when, not if. And so just think pre-rich, guys. You're all pre-rich.
Carter over in the chat saying, can I borrow a Bitcoin? I'll give it back, I promise. He must have just saw Web3 Nate say he was the one depositing $600 million and buying up Bitcoin last night. So you should send him over a Bitcoin, then send me over two, all right?
Well, I'll tell you what, Carter. Join the Telegram, Crypto Paradise Telegram. Check out the mini app. We have plenty of giveaways going on pretty much at all times. In fact, we were just spending this morning, prior to the live stream, sending out about $1,000 worth of rewards to people who have participated in a prior campaign. So if you're looking for rewards, you came to the spot. If you're looking for analysis, you came to the right spot. If you're looking for gems, you came to the right spot. If you're looking for how to actually survive this crazy market over a period of 5 and 10 years, you've come to the right spot. So you're welcome to the right spot, bud. And oh, by the way, if you like free vacations, we got those too. So what is Crypto Paradise not doing? I don't know. We're not giving away Bitcoins. I'm not even going to give away Bitcoins to my kids. Not until I'm dead. So, I'll just tell that's my mindset when it comes to Bitcoin. You ain't going to touch Bitcoin. Bitcoin is sacred. You hear that, Aiden? You ain't getting any Bitcoins, buddy. Not until I'm dead.
Gotta be like Warren Buffett and just like donate.
I don't think you heard me though. But yeah, great stuff. I'm so pumped about this meeting. I just think I was predicting it back in June. I was hoping for it back in June. Kind of seeing the writing on the wall with labor market looking bad. They needed to cut rates. They were too high. The whole reason they kept them high was a fugazi reason of we were scared of tariffs. We're scared tariffs were going to reignite inflation. Meanwhile, all the tariff things were negotiated away, basically. And anyway, goods only accounts for a small percentage of the overall inflation numbers. It mostly comes from housing. So bottom line is, this was a long time coming. We've been predicting it since June. I'm so excited for it today. I can barely contain my excitement. It's also because I probably drank too many of these caffeinated beverages. But it's been a good one today, gentlemen. I don't know if we have any final thoughts.
Nah, I got a few more hours. I'll be fast asleep when we get this rate cut, so I'll have some fun stuff to wake up to. But
Or we'll be at 104,000.
Yeah,
maybe
happy
when you
FOMC
wake
day,
up,
everybody.
when you wake up, get a video out or get live. You know, hitting different time zones is what it's all about. So you might have some activity to get on there to something good to talk about. We'll see.
There
what
you
happens.
go. Oh, yeah. A little post-mortem, post interest rate cut, post-mortem, you know. Where do we go from here?
Nate will be like,
Now,
I
we
was
just
right,
had the biggest cut of our
75K.
lives. What have we? You know, should we just pack it up, pack it in? There's nothing to look forward to, guys. This is the biggest meeting of our lives. That's it. There's no point in living.
Until the next one.
Until the next one, exactly. Well, good stuff today. We'll be back tomorrow with another live stream. Maybe
There is-
do something.
There is some breaking news here. Apparently, Trump will be interviewed by Fox News during Powell's press conference. If you don't think we live in a simulation, here's more proof of it. This could be wild because if Powell doesn't cut rates, Trump's going to be having an aneurysm over there. Wow, the entertainment business is up, and hopefully our meme coins will be up soon. Go check out Dubcat and some of our other favorites on Solana, BSC, and Pulse Chain.
Yeah, I wonder if I might guess is Trump is mostly going to talk about the Charlie Kirk situation. I don't think
He's done with that. I think Trump is done with that. He's already had his.
That was last week's news.
Well, he's already said all of his points. People are now questioning him on it, and he's kind of just like very short on the reply. Be like, look, it is what it is. I've given my opinion. Other people were doing this for it. We're doing that for it. Like, what else do you want me to do, or what else do you want me to say?
Yeah, Trump's a very powerful man, but he does not have the power to prevent every lone wolf, crazy person, disgruntled asshole with a gun from assassinating people. I'm sorry, guys. Trump can't do everything for us. Just be happy he pumped our bags. So, it'd be interesting to see what the Trump meeting about is today, or the interview. I'll be watching Powell. Powell because that impacts my life 10,000 times more than whatever Trump goes on about. Big day today. We'll be watching. Maybe we should go live later during the speech or maybe we'll do analysis. Right after we'll do some analysis. That could be fun.
Yeah, let's see what's going on a little later. Until then, I think we got some calls and some stuff to do, and hopefully some of our bags keep pumping, start pumping, keep producing passive income, whatever it is.
We need the bags to pump. So Powell, do your thing. Money printer, go burr. We're all pretty rich, and until we're actually rich, we'll see you on the